Not all paranormal investigators understand how to work with the dead, but as a death witch, I understand it well. I'm Nicole Nightfall, and since early childhood, I've been mastering how to work with and speak with the dead, and now I'm documenting it all.
It was like literally a person standing right there.
Join me as I explore well-known and even unknown locations by myself or with carefully selected teams, including seasoned paranormal investigators, seasoned practitioners, and even new ones, as they have their first experiences with ghosts. The following content contains mature themes and language. Triggering content and subject matter is discussed. Sensitive viewers are hereby advised. This content contains flashing lights. Headphone users be cautioned, there may be abrupt changes in volume. The following investigation is conducted by a professional. Do not attempt, viewer discretion is advised. Welcome to Krum Elbow, home of many secrets and land of Father Divine.
Famed in U.S. folklore are the legends of New York's Hudson River Valley, the Rip Van Winkle country. Even today, when there is thunder in the Catskills, villagers say that it is Henry Hudson's ghostly crew playing at Phantom Ninepin. But as fabulous as its ancient folklore is the Rip Van Winkle country's legend of 1938. First portents of this new legend were mysterious signs, crude against the landscape. Who had placed them there, what they meant, no one knew. And then on the veranda at Krum Elbow, one of the oldest and proudest estates on the Hudson, strangers appeared, whose voices, it is said, sometimes floated across the river to Krum Elbow's neighboring estate, the ancestral home of a substantial old Dutch family, the Franklin Roosevelts.
How long have you been living here?
Since December, which would be, how many months is that? 8 months now?
My name is Zach.
How long have you been living in Sassac?
About 8 months.
In New York's Harlem, the new squire of Krum Elbow is better known as Father Divine, whose thousands of followers loudly hail him as God on earth, whose heavens quake with the worship of his flock.
I know that the both of them are probably spoken about Father Divine. I know that he was involved in the property, owned it, brought people up here. I know that there's a connection to the Roosevelts here.
Of all Hudson River squires, none has been so bitter or so violent toward another squire as anti-new dealer Howland Spencer has been toward his neighbor Franklin Roosevelt, just across the river.
So what I think I know is that this once was owned by a Roosevelt, so FDR's house is not too far away. And apparently, he was at war with FDR and he bought the local paper and slandered him.
The Spencer-Roosevelt feud dates back to the day when the name of Spencer's estate, Krum Elbow, was appropriated to describe the summer White House. One day this last summer, Howland Spencer calls in reporters to tell them that the dispute over the name Krum Elbow is soon to fall on the shoulders of another.
So I'm turning it over to Father Divine. President Roosevelt encourages the debtor. Father Divine encourages the thrifty. He will not permit anyone who has been on relief and not repaid it to be among his followers. I am backing the Divine deal against the New Deal.
As you've probably guessed by now, there is a lot of history attached to this land. Considering I know the people who live here, I spent months coming here on and off. I even went to the local historian after my first couple visits, and after I was seeing some pretty disturbing images that I could not even tie to Father Divine or anybody else, and the historian validated what I saw. Not only that, but the current owner of the property also validated something else I had seen in the bathroom. things that my friends didn't even know. The shocking revelations that correlate with my visions will be revealed at the end after I've conducted an investigation and sit them down and tell them all I know.
But that the new squire of Krum Elbow will have the blessing of the squire of the New Deal is first vouched for by Walter Winchell.
Flash, Washington. When he learned that anti-New Dealer Howland Spencer sold 500 acres near Hyde Park to Father Divine's Angels, intimates say that FDR smiled and said, well, it is good to know we will have some nice neighbors for a change.
Caught in the crossfire of a feud rapidly reaching national proportions, the new squire of Krum Elbow neatly sidesteps the issue.
I have not anything against Mr. Roosevelt. Neither have I anything against Mr. Spencer. If they had any disagreements, it was between them.
Out of all the history you've just mentioned and talked about, is there any one of those people or anybody associated with those people you think might still be lingering here in spirit?
Yeah.
This is not something out of the ordinary. This is a daily occurrence.
Father Divine sent shockwaves through America during his time here. He had beautiful ideologies that were based on merging the races and not having segregation between color or gender. Only recently have I noticed that people have been making documentaries here on YouTube on Father Divine. And there's one in particular I think is noteworthy to check out, and I will leave it in the bio or in the comments. Please look for it if you want to hear more about this figure. At this point, I can make an entire documentary myself and even consider doing so on Father Divine and this property. I think it is worth noting, though, and pointing out that in the previous clip, he had said that he had no problems with the Roosevelts. However, he has put in print and has said many a times that he has a lot of criticisms on FDR, especially and with great validity on FDR's refusal to abolish the lynching laws in the southern states. However, while a lot of Father Divine's ideologies are beautiful and way ahead of his time, like many men who come to great power, it's not long before allegations come to the surface. Claims of sexual abuse, even though he preached on no sexual relations at all, even if people were married. Some from iffy sources and some from some that are credible. And again, I advise you check out the documentary I am going to be pinning in comments for more on that. Any man who claims to be God himself, the reincarnate of Jesus Christ, is a red flag for me. And there have been many shady cover-ups done by Father Divine, and it's in a couple of these very credible allegations that it puts a giant stain on his message, and it is a huge shame. This property that my friends live on was housing a lot of these members of what some consider to be a cult. And it is just that, a textbook cult. He isolated people from their families, collected money on the sly from many businesses, made bold claims that those who stood against him or questioned him would face punishment or death, and even had a great and troubling influence on the likes of Jim Jones. And just to refresh your memory on who that is, it's where the saying, drinking the Kool-Aid, comes from. He forced his members to commit mass suicide and was very close to Father Divine, and at his passing even tried to take over his followers. Everything Jim Jones learned on how to be charismatic and manipulate people, he learned directly under Father Divine. And while it is certainly not Father Divine's fault that Jim Jones did what he did, you have to wonder where this influence came from Jim Jones and why he was so adamant to take over Father Divine's cult. What inner workings did he see with Father Divine that inspired him to have such influence over masses the way that Father Divine did? If you ask me, any man or person with that much power will eventually be up to no good.
When I first moved in here, I moved in before my roommate, Jesse. For a week, I was here alone. And I would hear things like people falling down the steps and things like that. And then about, I would say maybe 3 months in, I started feeling things and I couldn't sleep at my house, in my room. And I would say around maybe February and March, I started feeling a little uneasy sleeping. I wasn't getting the best sleep. And then I think you came and explained a little bit more about what was going on in the house, very high level. because I asked you to give me high level. And then since then, I've seen shadows, I've seen things, coming up the basement steps.
You see things in the windows, feel things, hear things falling down the stairs, it would sound like.
I got blinds in the living room. So at night, I felt like I was being looked at.
I mean, this happened actually recently again, but I sometimes sleep with like my hand dangling off the bed, and I felt like something sniffing my hand and then licked it, and I was like, okay, it's my cat. And I look and like my cat is not there. And this has happened probably like 2 or 3 times, and it's just very odd that it's a dog, I don't know, just sniffing my hand.
I've seen things in the dining room here when I'm sitting in the living room at night, especially when I'm home alone.
So we're rolling up on
Krum Elbow.
Krum Elbow. It's an estate.
Yes.
And there's a house here that I'm supposed to inspect psychically.
Do you want to know anything about it?
I don't want to know anything about it.
Okay.
But it's her friend's house and they just moved here. And all I know is that it's spooky and there's a vibe.
Sure is.
And Victoria can confirm.
Yes, this place is incredibly haunted. I did very minuscule cleansing when my friends moved in, but nothing crazy. So Nicole's gonna see first impressions, what she thinks is going on.
And we're gonna record it. And we are recording it. That's why you're here. So we're gonna, on Young Elbow Cromwell.
This is the guest house in the beginning.
This is the guest house. Nobody's staying here, right?
No, it's the property manager, the guy who takes care of the grounds. He does his work and maintenance in there.
Okay.
So right now we're going up the private driveway, and it is very long. There's a reason why it's this long, but I don't want to say because Nicole doesn't want to know anything about this place. What are you feeling just going through here?
I'm going to show you guys right down this road where I saw a bunch of African Americans walking barefoot, tattered clothes, and they were walking straight the direction we were going. And they looked almost like they were zombies. So right here's the road I'm going to show you. Down here, right here, just walking.
What are you feeling just going through here?
So I know that's like a servant's quarters, but were there like actual servants who have always stayed in that house?
Which one?
The one we passed and then they come here?
I don't know the full story with that.
When we first came here, was that when we drove together in my car and we came?
And I came in blind, remember? And I was like, don't tell me anything.
I did not tell Nicole a single thing because I know that she would find it out anyway, and I didn't want to give any hints. I didn't want to give any sort of anticipation. The only thing that I said about the house was that it was really spiritually active and there was a lot going on, but I did not specify. And before we even hit the property, we're going down the road, before you even turned into the driveway, and already she's like, there's something going on, there's something very heavy going on over here. And the closer we got, just her energy totally shifted. She was just a little anxious, a little fidgety, and there was just this sense of kind of like foreboding and just general anxiety coming off of her. And she said that a lot of terrible things have happened in the house.
Do you remember what I first saw when we turned on the road? What I explained to you that I was seeing outside of the car going down the road? Do you remember that?
Yeah, you saw people who were like enslaved, and it's just really sad. It was a very like terrible feeling.
What are you speculating that I found out from the local historian that I have to tell you at the end of tonight?
Well, it's definitely something, as I think it was described as before, as mic droppy, because you're waiting, frustratingly so. But I think I don't know. I think like a graveyard, makeshift graveyard, maybe unmarked graves, maybe there were murders here.
When you originally texted us that, I was at Victoria's with Jesse, and the first thing came to my head was a mass grave.
And I pretty much said I have a bombshell to drop about the history of the property. What do you think that might be?
I just know that I have a terrible feeling that there's people that are buried here that are not known to be here. And I feel like it was very malicious, and I feel like I'm kind of afraid of what we're going to find out. Because I don't want to be disrespectful. I don't want anyone to think that we're like taking advantage of the situation. I think that these people's stories have to be told and they need to be recognized.
Although my initial read of the place was not recorded, sometimes I get so overwhelmed I stop recording, and that footage that you witnessed from January is all I have of my first experience there because there was so much going on I couldn't think to record. If I'm being completely honest, what I had seen made me extremely uncomfortable. Sometimes when I come across spirits, especially souls that are lost, they have a very similar imprint in way they behave and walk. And I saw these unfortunate spirits behaving in such a way that caused me grave concern. I didn't know what to label them. I didn't want to label them. I didn't want to call them enslaved. I didn't want to call them anything because I realized very quickly I was dealing with something very serious. After I had stopped recording and we got to the house, I had told Victoria everything I saw, which she disclosed in this interview. However, what I witnessed were spirits stuck in a loop. These spirits were not aware that I had seen them. They didn't turn to look at me. They walked blindly, and describing them looking like zombies is the most accurate depiction I could. The state of their clothes, they were dirty. They were wandering down this, like they were stuck in a time loop. And I think it was a residual imprint more than intelligent with what I witnessed. And since then, we've done a couple spirit box sessions with the Phasma box, but I'm returning now on the day that I'm interviewing them, armed with the knowledge that the historian dropped on me, and commencing an investigation before I reveal to them what I uncovered. This is where, to me, it feels the most heaviest. You hear that owl? Owls are a common theme here.
I went to bed. That I called you the next morning about the owl and the whispers.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are very clearly in the middle of the woods, so you would hear an owl. However, owls are very common with them, associated when paranormal activity happens. And as you could hear, it's middle of the day, owls are nocturnal, and one sounds as I'm talking about the spirits where I felt it heavy. And shortly after hearing this owl, I noticed that I'm not alone. From a spiritual standpoint, bears can represent many things depending on the culture you are speaking of. However, the bear often reminds us to stand our ground, is also a symbol of protection, and this bear in particular kept following me around. Owls, on the other hand, across many different cultures, represent death. In the first official investigation, I want to start where the owl is most seen, and that's outside of the window in Jesse's room. And after trying to get some intelligent responses with the Phasma box and the XLS camera set up in the closet, which Jesse feels holds a lot of activity, we didn't get any responses except for this one really creepy voice. Who are you? For those of you who saw the very first episode, this is the same Jesse you saw there. However, this episode was filmed far before that. After receiving no other intelligent responses in this space, I decided to move on to the next room, and I asked Esoterica to join me and Jesse. Are you human?
The questions?
Well, sorry. Well, okay. Were you a person who lived? Were you here with Father Divine's people? Were you here before that? I start to get this imagery of somebody getting hit from behind by a giant bat-like object. Did somebody get bludgeoned? Behind. From behind. Yep. Who am I I talking to right now? Who hit you? It's important to keep in mind when you're doing paranormal investigations, especially if you're going from location to location, or in my case, do a lot of mediumship work, that these could be spirits from anywhere. Considering we're also near flowing water, spirits can travel through water, so we could be getting any number of spirits that know we are opening up a portal of sorts, a communication session, that are coming from the river that you can view from the back deck. They must work. I'll him. Who will you kill? Employee. Clergy. Did they forget about you? Considering at this point of the investigation, I am the only one who knows the property's history from the historian. I have not shared it yet with them. I'm starting to understand what is going on here, and I can't say too much without giving it away. And I'm also deeply disturbed, so I decide to shift gears. What year are you from? Something 81, right? Yeah. Can you say it again? $91. 91.
The howling. Sound like a dog.
I heard howling. It said howling. Is the dog really a dog? What are you protecting? Have you seen this dog?
Like, kind of.
What does it look like?
Small black dog.
Okay. With that answer, and I'm laughing in such a way because, again, I have this knowledge that associates with what she's saying, and I will reveal it at the end of the episode to all of you.
It's PJ.
What is the black dog protecting? But I lead the next question hoping the spirits will tell them themselves and give some irrefutable evidence.
My name's PJ.
Your name's PJ. That's twice we heard that.
Yeah, PJ. They said it just before.
Who's PJ? Hi, PJ.
Hi, PJ.
Can you hear us? PJ, did you live here with your family? PJ, who are you connected to?
To the house.
Why are you connected to the house?
Are you okay? Did you get hurt?
Are you stuck? I ask this question because I find most of the time when there's a spirit who wants to communicate but is yelling stop as if it's speaking to the other spirits, I get concerned another spirit's holding them back against their will.
If you don't want to.
Free. The lodgings here used to be free when they would come up to visit.
People were...
Oh.
How many people were...
You heard that?
Hi.
Hello.
You may be asking yourself at this point, Nicole, why aren't you freaking out? Lucifer came through the box twice. And there's two reasons for this. For the most part, a lot of spirits like to say that name and throw it around to try to scare you. When you're scared, you give off a lot of energy that can feed them, and sometimes they just want to poke a stick at you. And if it was Lucifer, which I don't really feel it was, I would feel it. I had one session where I know for a fact he came through and I felt it rattling the bottom of my spine. The energy that comes through is so powerful, it's undeniable. And considering I go on investigations often with Esoturka, who is a left-hand practitioner and works with Lucifer, his name gets thrown around a lot, especially when she is around, and there's nothing about it that intimidates me. The worst thing you could do is start freaking out when these names come through the box because you never know who's actually saying them. And after this point, I start to feel the energy shift and it goes a little stagnant, so I decide it's time to move on to a different room, and I swap Jesse for Zach.
Alright, so we are obviously in the bathroom. And Victoria is obviously in the tub. And I first felt something when we came here and here, and there once was Moisha's in here with us. There was once a mirror actually right where I'm sitting, right? And I told you guys to remove it, and it does feel a little bit better in here, but I want to see if we get any more activity. Oh, gee, gosh. Yeah. Who are you? Yes. Who are you, please? Who are you, and why do you want us out? Why are you so grumpy?
It's the same voice.
If you're here, can you show up? We want to see you. If you really want us out, show up.
We would like to know who you are. We'd like to talk with you. Maybe we can help.
Do you remember what I told you what the property manager said?
No, what did he say?
He said that a man died here.
Isn't that what I first picked up on, though? That
In the
somebody died
bathroom.
in the bathroom, right? Okay, that was fuzzy for me because I
Moish just drops this bombshell on me, confirming a vision I had when I first came to the house. There were so many things I was picking up on, but I remember coming to this bathroom and there being a very heavy feeling, and I had told him that I felt like a man had died in the bathtub, and Zach just confirmed for me here that that is actually accurate information. The property manager confirmed with them that somebody had died on the property in the way that I described.
remember there was something about this bathroom. Can you see me? Can you show up? And we can see you. I have the equipment.
If you stand right behind me.
Do we know where he died? Did he die in the bathtub? Did you get specifics? He died in the bathtub. That's what I
think
said.
so,
right?
yeah.
In this bathtub?
I don't think
Are you the spirit? Are you the man who died in here?
Please bear in mind that when we're in the moment, we can't fully hear or understand what they're saying. Especially for me, this could be very overstimulating, so I can't hear absolutely everything being said. We are not ignoring or being insensitive.
Can you join Victoria in the bathtub if you're in here?
You may.
You can open the door if you need to. It'll help us get out faster. That's for sure. Moish will be the first one running, watch.
Hey.
I mean, am I wrong?
No.
Did you just hear your laugh echo on there?
I've been using the Phasma box for years, and I've never had it echo my voice as I'm speaking. Of course, there have been spirits that have borrowed voices of myself and others around me to manipulate the sound or to mock us, but it's never happened while I'm actually making the sound, as if I'm using a microphone to amplify through it.
It loves doing that.
The saints. Is this your favorite room in the house?
My stepdad said by the way that this room is, you can see all the different how like this short ceiling here, and then the deck. This was not originally a bathroom. This was part of a bedroom
Got you.
or a closet. So this was not the original use for this room. No, no, it's not. Wow, he just said that.
Yeah. Peace.
At the time, we did not know this, but after my research into Father Divine, peace was a common slogan for him, and his followers came to serve what was called the Peace Mission. If there wasn't enough energy already on this property, with the long history that it entails, there is also the river that has been mentioned and a railroad. The railroad cradles this property and the train runs through every now and again. It can get quite loud, and we can only imagine the house that's right at the edge of the water gets a full-blown experience. Railroads also have a great spiritual significance, can carry spirits, and have associations with beings of higher power, especially those who might be connected to this land. A fierce protector of his people, especially those within this Yoruba tradition, is an Orisha called Ogun. You can find him in the wilderness, in the forests, and at the train tracks. All three we happen to be smack in the middle of. He also serves as a bridge, a gateway between the heaven and the earth. And his favorite animal happens to be a black dog. Have you seen this dog?
Like, kind of.
What does it look like?
Small black dog.
Okay.
Are we speaking to the spirit of the man who passed here? If you're here, can you open the door?
We would like to see them.
Turkish.
That's me.
Fun fact about Victoria, she has a Turkish spirit in her court, so they probably see it.
Where's the bathtub?
Where's the bathtub?
Can you turn off that light? Let's see what happens.
Is this too bright for you?
It's right in the middle. Just hold it down. Is that better? Yes.
Finally.
Listen, we want to help. Tell us how we can help you. Can we speak to the man who passed in here, please, Spirit?
There's Renee.
Are you in the bathtub with Victoria? Who are you?
Christians, not here.
And just in case you don't know this about Father Divine, he is and started off as a reverend in the Christian faith, and what he preached was very much his own take on Christianity. And he also had ranks for his followers and gave them names like angels and archangels.
Are you one of the angels or archangels? Not literally, but Father Divine's angels or archangels. That's what he would call his followers.
It's in heaven. In heaven.
In heaven. Who's in heaven? Is he here?
He's here, he just said.
Do you have anything you'd like to say? Father Divine, were you the prophet?
It's a whispering voice. What are you hiding? Why are you whispering?
Whispers. Father Divine, are you still here?
church bell.
Father Divine, if you're still here, do you have any messages for your surviving followers? In there in Philadelphia. Alright, well, we're gonna go into the next room. Would that make you happy?
Yes. Okay, sir.
What was that?
Oh, my good sound.
Said Father Divine song.
It did. Alright, we're going to the bedroom.
Hey. All right.
We'll see you in there. Or not. So now we are, me, Victoria, and Moish.
Oh, that looks like I'm touching myself.
It does. We are
Sorry.
we're in this bedroom where there's been a significant amount of activity, sort of. Where would you say, Moish, that most of the activity has been in this room? Like what section?
I would say it was, my room used to be in a different formation before I had the AC in. Over here was a lot in this area, but once I moved my bed, it wasn't. I feel it more in like near the TV and like this area of the room. I usually, like I said earlier, I usually sleep with the TV on. Because I did see a shadow once when I woke up late, and it was just like, yeah.
So it does feel a lot better, I feel, in here than last time I was in here. But like last time it was mainly like under the bed and kind of following you around. And I kind of described it as something, you weren't here, obviously, so I'm kind of explaining to you and them. That it was kind of vampiric in nature. It was like energy draining and causing depression and a lot of anxiety and other stuff.
On top of my own.
On top of, yes.
Because I was also personally going through.
Right. So it was kind of like feeding off of / also exasperating all that stuff. So we're going to turn on the spirit box, see what's going on in here. I had already cleansed this room for you, even though it was like a quick thing. We had like a little bit of an emergency sesh, I would say.
It was like a month ago, maybe?
Yeah, it was a few weeks ago, yeah. So we've got this, we're going to turn the spirit box on, and we have the the XLS going, which right now that is Moish Zach at the end of the bed. So we'll be picking up his lovely little stick figure that looks very compromised right now. So he's posing for you. But we're going to see if anything shows up. And I kind of want him right where he's at to see if anything shows up around him.
Oh, can we also like spot the spider over there? Like, oh my god.
The spider's actually good.
So yes, where is it? Oh yeah, very nice, very nice.
Oil.
I don't know if it's showing up because I can't see.
I'm going to point at the
I
spider.
thought you were gonna pick it up. I was like, damn.
No, I would never.
So it's funny, not
There's
funny.
a lot of those in here.
So Moish was asking me earlier if there's any bugs he shouldn't kill, which I thought was a very interesting question, and I had said immediately, I think before you even finished, I said spiders. So we believe, or I should say I believe, I'm not trying to speak for you, that spiders represent spirits of the dead. So usually they're to be honored, especially if you are a death practitioner, worker, or witch. Like spiders are kind of like sacred. I like this little stretchy thing your little red body's got going on right now. Ooh, what was that? Was that you?
Did you say red body?
Energy shifting. Yeah. Changing of the guard, I call it. Yep. Who are you?
It's him again.
Come through. Are you trying to play? Play. Who are you trying to play with?
What is
Who are you trying to play with? What's our intent? We're here to talk to you and find out more about what happened on this property. And we were hoping to see you if you want to show yourself.
Do you feel sick? What room? Who wants to talk to us?
Victoria and I both hear the Hat Man come through clear as a bell. And in all of my paranormal investigations, I can't say I've come across him personally. And if you don't know about the Hat Man, it is a widespread paranormal phenomena. And he's most seen by those who are sleeping and causes sleep paralysis. And of course, I don't want to alarm Zach with this. You explain that one.
It's nothing good. It's like something. It's like something that a lot of people have seen. It's just like a not good.
It's kind of like how there's a lot of people say like Lady in White. It's like the Man in the Hat's kind of like a common spirit people see, but usually it's like a threat almost, like if he shows up. But it could
like
be
a bad omen.
Yeah, it's like another spirit could just be saying that to her.
What shoes?
Oh, I thought you said something, Nicole.
Yeah.
Why are you here? How do we help you? Can you be helped?
Maybe not.
Are you going to talk to us in here?
Cat?
How do you feel about the cat?
We pet him.
We pet him.
You do pet him and play with him.
I swear I think my cat like plays with something.
Angels came.
Yeah.
Literal angels or Father Divine's angels? Do you have your phone with you?
I do.
Would you mind terribly playing on YouTube one of Father Divine's sermons? I want to try this tactic to evoke a certain response from him or from any of his followers that may be present. Would you like to hear one of Father Divine's sermons? I said,
Christianity and through Judaism, democracy, and brotherhood.
This is agony.
is Father Divine the prophet? Is Father Divine dead? So his followers that are still alive believe that he never died.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Where do they think he is?
They think because he's like Jesus, like that he never died. Yeah. Any other messages before we move to another place, another room? It's like a kiss. You went, did you hear that?
Yeah, because I kissed my room goodbye.
Who you kissing?
Moish?
If you want to kiss Moish, go right on ahead. We got you right on camera. Give him a nice. Nice little peck on the cheek.
I'm moisturized today.
He's moisturized.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go to the basement. How do you feel about that?
Let's
A
roll.
dog. Oh, I thought I said let's roll. Oh, I thought I said a dog. All right. Let's go on downstairs. Thanks, Spirit. We'll see you down there if you want to go.
Thank you, Spirit.
Oh, I'm good.
If you couldn't tell by that reaction, Moish does not like the basement very much.
Jesse and I knew that the downstairs was definitely probably the most haunted.
I think the basement is where it gets a little unpleasant, where I don't want to be. It's the natural foundation of the house. So it's got some leaks, the water, collects on the bottom, but there's also this like attached room that is, you'll see, I guess, but it's like essentially the door is like closed. Like there's this rift in the floor. You have to like lift the door to open it. And it's like what looked like a hunting room, or I don't know, so maybe the help, was there, and there's like this bathroom that's like all cracked, and there's a bear claw tub that's cracked. And that room, it just gives off just like a really weird, stifled kind of energy.
Victoria, do you want to tell the story about the friend? Because this didn't come out in the interview. So somebody that was friends with them had an experience here last week. Go ahead and tell it.
This was in the other part of the basement where the hunting room.
That's the room I want to go into.
We were down here, or not we, he was down here, and he was putting a hose through the window. We were doing some stuff outside, and it took him half an hour. He had to pop the windows open. It's very cobwebby and dirty down here because it's an old basement. Nobody really comes down. And he was working and his hands were dirty. And he said, I need a rag. I need a towel. I need a rag, something like that. He heard a little tink, like the pipe. None of these are pipes. And he looked, and there was a clean, fresh rag right behind him. And nothing, there was no rag before. And everything that hasn't been down here for like quickly is covered in spider webs. And it was a fully clean, pristine rag.
Is there anybody down here? F.
Spirit, do you want us to go anywhere else in the basement besides right here?
If you're down here, can you knock on the door? You remember?
Did anything down here belong to any of you?
How many spirits are here? Fun? Fun? Are you having fun?
Something protection.
Would you like me to go into the other room?
What do you think? What are you feeling about tonight if we start investigating?
It's gonna be crazy. I already know because whenever we start an investigation, specifically like Nicole and I, if it's going to be in a really intense session, I always am like really crazy before the session starts. Like my energy is always boom, boom, boom. I feel like I'm feeling their excitement. It's like the wave is building up and it's getting bigger and bigger and they're waiting to crash down.
Oh,
Knock.
well, this is cutting out, so I guess this has to stay out here. Can we come in? Important to show respect for certain spirits. Before you enter a space, you should always knock and announce your presence. However, while waiting, I get distracted. We're recording. Holy shit, that spider is gigantic! Can we come in?
It's moving, the light.
We're coming in.
We're bringing the machine.
Or maybe we're not. They don't want us in.
Bouncing. It's a bouncer.
You can come in now. I'm trying.
Wait, let me see.
Yeah.
Spirit, I'm gonna do some Fonzie shit. Ready? Oh, that would have been so cool.
It would have. Oh my god! Did that just pull back on you?
Yes!
Okay, let's go.
Alright, maybe not. Maybe we're not going there tonight.
Are you sure that's what happened? I don't know if that happened.
Try it.
I did.
Try it. You do it.
I did.
You do it.
Can we come in?
Come in. Whoa. All right. Well.
Of course, there's a number of reasons why this door could all of a sudden not be working. The house could have settled weird, the wood could have warped where it's stuck on the bottom floor, and Esoterica says as much in this bit here. However, you all said it looked like something pulled back on it, and even though it scared the hell out of us, it could have caught on the floor underneath. When I first came here, we went into this room and I picked up on the hunter, and that's why we call it the hunter's room. He did not feel malicious in any way, but I identified him as some sort of former caretaker here as well who stayed on the property, and he loved his privacy, and I very much remember being a little uncomfortable in that room because he was shy and did not want to interact with the living.
But it felt like it got...
Oh, I saw you pulled in, your face said it all. I guess we're not...
Wait, come close to here. Do you hear something in there? If you just listen.
No. Do you not want us near the door?
Because Kevin got in here last weekend.
That's so strange. Yeah, because it's...
Okay. I don't get it, though, because the thing that's weird is, look at the bottom. It's, not...
It's like it's settled in. You're worrying me. At this point, we are not trying to push the spirit's boundary, even though at this point we are starting to gather that we are not supposed to investigate this room come hell or high water. And since this is a home of our friends, we just want to make sure the door isn't broken. Huh. Well, I guess we ain't getting in there. Okay. Let's, I guess, call it a wrap and go up.
Next week.
Next week? Yeah, okay. See you then. WTK. It's time now to wrap everything up and reveal to them everything that I got from the historian. Things that have been troubling me, that have been a lot for me to carry. Things that I'm not even sure I can fix or make right. Things that correlate with spirit box sessions and visions I had before I ever started recording any of this. And at the end of this very long night, I gathered them around this table so I could share with them everything I've learned thus far.
It was interesting. But I think with the history of this place, there were some things, especially that have happened over time that we've done, that really add up. So the historian I contacted got back to me, and there were quite a few things, and I don't even think we're done scraping the surface on the history of this property, because it was a very rushed email that she sent, and with that was kind of even some interesting stuff. So Father Divine, yes, but she was kind of skeptical and saying that a lot of people thought they knew him and just wanted to tell stories. He did live on the property. It wasn't in this house, which I think you guys know.
Wasn't in this house.
Right.
Yeah.
And there were thousands of people who came here. Like, I think they said it was around like 2,000 people he was trying to get to come up here that he would call his angels or his archangels. And that came through a few times through the box. I would have to listen back to it to see for more specific information. But she also said in the email that this property was lived on like Revolutionary War times and even earlier. So Father Divine is just scraping the surface of the history of this place. The previous owner was Howland Spencer.
Yeah.
He is related to the Roosevelts. The Roosevelts did not live here, but technically he's like a distant cousin, but he was feuding with the Roosevelts. He even named this estate what it is to spite Eleanor and FDR, because they had named one of their estates. It was like, I think it was like a family thing. It seemed like it was like Krum Elbow. Yeah, so that's why it's named what it is. So some people think that this might be the Roosevelts because they had a property named that, I think in like Washington or wherever, their private estate. And I think it was something that was like meaningful to them, and he did that to like spite them. So they couldn't name their estate there. They live though on the east side of the Hudson River. So it's like pretty much on the other side of the water. They did not get along at all, at all. Their politics were very different, and the previous owner, who was related to him, was known to be a writer. He fought in the war overseas, but he was very much known for his anti-Semitic rhetoric and hating Jewish people, and also hating homosexuals.
I don't know if you remember anything else from the spirit box.
I do remember though telling you things that maybe weren't so nice, like with your religion, like it called you those things a little nasty and
that was
promiscuous name calling. Yes.
Oh yes.
Yes.
I remember that.
There's some little jerk that comes in and they'll say gay, and they'll taunt a little with that, which is not cool. They'll talk about him being Jewish a lot. Some in a nice way, some in a mocking, rude way.
He aligned himself especially with very strong anti-Semitic rhetoric that blamed pretty much Jews for all of the problems in the world, and he wrote about it and supported people politically who were also anti-Semitic. So I don't know if that explains some of maybe the aggressive names like sometimes that are going through, because he was a very vocal person, just in general. And negative, yeah.
Is he still here, we think?
I think some of what was coming through in previous spirit box sessions that was directed to maybe, and I think he maybe even made an appearance when we were up in your room a little bit before, and I felt like he did not want to talk to us. I don't think he means harm. He's just a dick, for lack of a better word, a man of his time that was not open-minded, and even unto his death, he died in the Bahamas. He sold the property to Father Divine, thinking it would spite the Roosevelts because of what they stood for. But then FDR had said it's going to be nice having a nice neighbor for a change, or something along that line. Like, it was like a constant bickering battle between the two of them. So there's that. And then the biggest shoe drop here was that kind of took my breath away, was that there is a pretty much lost or unlocated slave cemetery somewhere on the property. And the historian actually seemed deeply troubled that she could not locate it on the property.
Didn't I remember what you said?
So the first thing I saw when I came here were slaves in tattered clothes walking down the road, like lost, looking almost like zombies coming down the road.
So do you think maybe it was engraved and...
Or paid over or lost because people just didn't care? That's why I'm getting emotional.
There are a lot of...
So they're forgotten. And obviously their lives were not clearly easy either. And I think that's why there's a lot of spiritual activity outside, especially. I think that's a lot of what's going on outside of here, let alone cemeteries and all that, attracting all different types of spirits and things to that. I would not be surprised if even whatever's in the basement coming in and out of that door is one of those souls too. I just feel like they're just wandering and lost and feel very forgotten. Because when I said zombie, like that's like what it feels like to me.
So they're just wondering without a place to close.
Yeah, well, they're forgotten, and they say that you die two deaths. You die the death in this life, and then you die the death of your name. So they have long since, because they were obviously not cared about to even know where the hell they are right now in present times. But I think the first step is getting to locate where the hell these graves are, so at least they have a voice and can be honored, and hopefully the town takes care of it if it truly is like lost, because that's, I don't know if that's a legality issue. That's like weird to me.
Yeah. There's a lot more to be found out about that before you could make a decision.
So that's that. I don't know if anybody has any further questions. When I find out more stuff, because she said she was just, again, scraping the surface, she said it has a long history of interesting characters that own this place. And I just went back to before Father Divine. She was still researching back. But that's why I think they tap, that's why they're like looking in, and because they're probably like, what? Like, I feel like some of them are stuck in a time loop, some of them, yeah.
The what? The second?
I feel like some of them are stuck in a time loop, because I feel like some of them aren't necessarily fully intelligent or understanding, like they're just stuck in like a residual energy. And then some are intelligent, but
They weren't given much in life, so.
yeah. So,
I wonder what like time frame that's from. Because if it goes back all the way to the road.
well, I think that's around where she started, and then she had said to, if you see anything or experience anything else, please let me know. And I said, oh, I want to know everything, like without me seeing anything now at this point. And then I told her about what I had seen when I first turned on that road. And her saying, like, when you said you didn't know, because you didn't know, but like nobody here knowing like what the hell I was seeing was like bothering me, because that was like one of the most vivid images I've ever seen.
I remember you said, now I remember when you didn't just say the tire clothes, you said you saw like chains and like
chains, bare
dragging
feet,
and
and they were
terrible.
dirty, and they were walking where we were driving like mindlessly down the road. That's what I saw, and I couldn't explain, and I asked if that was like a slave quarter house, the red house on the corner, because that's where
Yes.
I saw them walking from. And that could be from anywhere, it's not necessarily that house that it's sourced from, but there's something about that spot too, to me, that's like weird, so.
There's more to this, but after recording this, it came to be revealed with further investigation from the historian that that exact spot that we passed in the car might actually be where the graves are located. We don't have a lot to go off of other than a poem that the historian found from somebody who was obviously of a time using triggering words, so this is another trigger warning. And you could see there on the screen that they might be near the knoll, the back of the pond, and right in that area where I point out, there is what's left of a pond. The same exact spot that I played earlier with the owl.
Because it's the road, so that could be like where the gatekeeper is, that could be where the entrance technically is to their cemetery.
They're doing all construction on that house right now. They're digging everything up right now.
They're renovating it, they're not knocking it down.
Is that the same owner that?
He owns it, right?
He owns every house.
I would let him know that there's, I mean, I would say we're still finding out more with the historian and stuff, but just in case he digs something, like it might be nice for him to have like a heads up.
I think it is a good idea to get somebody in here who is...
Well, that's the plan. I'm gonna locate it, figure out where it is, because I don't want to bring somebody in blind where we're just like, I really want to get ducks in a row, and hopefully even with the town addressing it and taking care of it, because that's, I feel like, necessary.
I mean, that's the town's responsibility.
Even if like we have to go, not trying to include you guys, and I don't live here, but I would go to the town board, like if it's recognized, and be like, what the fuck, like, because I feel like they need to have at least like a space,
They need...
Great.
What about the black dog?
Howling.
I heard howling. It said
Yeah.
howling. Have you seen this dog?
Like kind of
What does it look like?
small black dog.
Okay.
Thank you you for bringing that up. So black dogs, especially in Celtic cultures, but I feel like this is cross-cultural, are also keepers of the cemetery, hellhounds. They can also be used as witches' familiars, but a lot of them can also protect the gates of the dead. Black dogs specifically.
You probably heard stories about that, like someone like being about to pass and they see a little black dog and a little black dog following them, and there's hair and things.
They're like part of like the gatekeepers, even if you think of also culture, like different culture, Hecate with her 3 black dogs, and she's the keeper of the keys, and like there's like a whole thing with like black dogs being keepers of the world. Yeah.
As you can all probably tell, we have our work cut out for us. After speaking with the historian, I did my best with Esoterica to research local people who can maybe help with this, especially associated with the universities near us, including those who may have contacts with African American studies and anthropologists who might be able to help. Jesse, myself, and Esoterica even strapped on our own boots and tried looking for these slabs of stone, hoping in some naive hope that we could find something carved into stone that might be more apparent. But as you could all guess, and we kind of thought this too, the enslaved people didn't have engraved headstones or really any indication other than this tiny poem that we have to go off of. Unfortunately, we were not able to locate anything, but we are still trying, and we think we need to get in contact with professionals or anthropologists that could track down lost graves. We have every intention of keeping the town involved with this, and they are keeping an eye out on their own. Unfortunately, even though we are in New York, a lot of people tend to forget that there were enslaved people that resided up here. It wasn't just down south. I do believe I was called to this place for a reason. I do believe I came to associate and become friends with these people who live here for a reason. These souls need to be found. They need rest. They need to be honored and acknowledged. And the timing is insane because only a few months before this, and mere miles away, another enslaved person's cemetery was uncovered, and anthropologists and anthropology students from NYU were there going through the remains and helping preserve the site. And as somebody who works with the dead, I can tell you that I would bet anything these souls are networking together to find peace and closure, and they are crying out for people to find them, whether it's me, whether it's you, whether it's anybody who might happen to stumble upon them. And while we're still trying to locate these graves ourselves, if anybody has any helpful hints or anyone that they can locate in the Hudson Valley or New York area, in the New York City area, we would greatly appreciate it, and please let us know. And as that situation unfolds, if I'm privy to the information, I will gladly share it with all of you. Thank you all for watching. Please subscribe, ring the bell, give it a like, and give me any questions or comments you have. I'll be back soon with an all-new episode of Ghost Chaser. Same witch, different location, same channel.